Manchester United are going to have to bring back Mason Greenwood at some point, and I don't think they're going to let him go. We've talked about this on previous shows. Let's get into a bit more detail because he's starting to make noises over in La Liga, and with some big names taking notice. Manchester United's cash-strapped takeover of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and everything else that we're struggling with right now. Manchester United can't afford to let assets go for nothing, no matter what the circumstances behind them. Finances dictate a lot in football, and I feel like this one is going to take priority in the summer in a position where Manchester United are struggling right now. We've got a player there that is at the top of his game right now and is looking absolutely sharp. This is FUTV Forever United. Welcome, good morning everybody. Welcome to the early show today. We're talking Mason Greenwood. We're talking transfers that aren't happening, so don't listen to the idiots that say that they are, because they're not. We're looking at what is coming up now. We're going to look ahead to the games coming up. We're going to look into AFCON as well, the players that are missing for Manchester United, and what effect it has on the rest of the league and our chance under these competitions coming in and what we can make of it. Get your comments in as well, everybody. Hope the Christmas shopping is going well. Hope everyone is having a fine day. It is absolutely lashing it down here in Manchester. It's like a storm is brewing right now outside. So let's stay inside. Let's put on FUTV and let's get into some serious football conversation. And we do need to talk in detail about Mason Greenwood. We really do, because Manchester United have got a player on their hands there. We've all known this from the days he came through from the youth system into the team. Circumstances dictate, and obviously everybody knows what's gone on behind the scenes, but that is done and dusted. So what do we do from here? Do we concentrate solely on the football side of things and look ahead to what might happen in the summer? Can United enforce a early clause to bring him back early? No, they can't. That cannot happen. So we have to look at this and go, right, okay, at least we can now see him have a full season in another shirt, actually playing well in a team that's not expected to do well either. So possibilities for Mason Greenwood coming back into a United team that hopefully has turned a corner in the second stage of the season, him coming back in the summer, which it will happen. I understand why people don't want him back in the team. I understand why people don't think it's right. I really do. We're talking about we're not talking about our opinions and what we think about what is right and what is wrong. We're talking about what we know as United fans will happen. We're talking about what he can bring on the football pitch and keeping it to that. That's all we can do right now, because everything has gone by now. It's going to leave a seriously sour taste, and it's going to take a long time for this to settle in with a lot of the United fan base when it happens. But one thing you can guarantee is that this does happen, and Mason Greenwood is back in that Manchester United shirt next season. And you know what? It's a player, when you're looking at it like the football, from the football side of things, that Manchester United really need at the moment. You only have to look at his performances so far this season, and we're not just jumping on the bandwagon. I have been keeping a close eye on Mason's progress over in Getafe. I've listened to what his coaches have said. I've listened to what his teammates have said. Now you've got players like Antoine Griezmann, who last night was talking about his performance in the Metropolitana against Atleti. 3-3, great game. You only have to watch the highlights reel of Mason Greenwood, and they're all over social media. It always happens, and sometimes you can get carried away, but there are that many highlights of simple, tidy things that Mason Greenwood does in that game. From the right-hand side as well, this isn't even as a number one striker. He's doing damage from the right-hand side. The thing is with Mason Greenwood is that two-footed player that can score from anywhere on the pitch, can head a ball, left foot, right foot, outside the box, inside the box, dynamic. And my God, he looks like he's just gained. Unless Atleti are incredibly slow and all their players have been on a bender or something and are suffering with a severe hangover, he looks lightning. I didn't realise, I knew Mason Greenwood was quick, but I didn't realise he was that quick in terms of he's actually got quicker. Or is it just that they are so slow? I doubt it with the way that Atleti play and how they defend, but he's breezing past one of the toughest defences in European football, as we know, with ease last night. And he has been doing this all season. 14 games, 7 goal contributions already from Mason Greenwood. He's got 4 assists, 3 goals. Yeah, he's not banging in the goals, but he is playing on the right-hand side. So I look at it and I go, okay, you've got a striker there that can play all the way across the front 3 positions for Manchester United. Have we got a standout in any one of them 3 positions right now? He's coming in and Ten Hag's like, wow, what an absolute bonus in the summer. That's how I look at it. Mason Greenwood coming back to Manchester United, and Ten Hag is going to go, where was this player before? He has missed out, and this is like we were talking with Ten Hag and the crap that he's had to deal with at Manchester United while he's been the manager. This is one of the sagas that he's dealt with. He's been asked impossible questions that he shouldn't have to answer. He's answered them right in the footballing context of things, which is what we're going to be looking at now, because for Ten Hag, I feel like this is a player that he cannot afford to let go. He's the right age. He's got the qualities to be a top player. And he's going to cost us absolutely nothing. I think with his contract, he's still got 2 years and an extra added on not so bad wages. You could have a guy here that could come back into Manchester United next season and score 20 goals plus. I understand, again, like I said, I'm not ignoring what was said, what was done, what we all heard, everything that happened with Mason Greenwood. But all I'm saying is someone is going to take this player. Manchester United won't allow that to happen. We can't afford to let that happen. Or Sir Jim Ratcliffe, whoever it may be, if Sir Jim Ratcliffe doesn't take charge, you can 100% guarantee that he's back in the team, because Manchester United don't have any money to bring in that type of player, that good a player in Mason Greenwood. It's impossible. There is no one out there like him right now, as good as him, that we can afford. He's on a plate and he can come back into the team. And then it's down to us. We have to deal with it, and everything that's playing on our emotions with the whole saga, we have to just lump it, because our club is run like an absolute piece of crap, and we are all over the place. Don't forget to tickle the like button. Yes, I see that one doing the rounds in the chat. Cheers, everybody, for tuning in. Getafe are pretty awful, but every time he gets the ball, he elevates his teammates. Watched his game and he links up everything. He does link up everything. He has been excellent this season. If you listen to what his coach has said at Getafe, he has said that he still hasn't reached that peak yet. He is doing amazing things now for Getafe and holding them up mid-table in La Liga. If you can go away to Atleti and get a 3-3 draw, then you're not a million miles off it. He is, like the comment says there, an absolute. He's a diamond in a rough team. He's not surrounded by the best quality players. Good, I would say, good players, and he does stand out in that team because of that, and we can't forget that. But you judge him off the opposition, so everything I take on board. It's like you can hear managers say one thing, hear his teammates say another thing. That's, for instance, just that club tinted glasses. Like we always say, red tinted glasses. We always look at things from our side and we try to make the best of everything, because it's our team, it's our player, it's our manager. That's what you have to look at. I love to get people on this show from the outside and get their opinions on what it looks like from the outside. I think that's important in all of this. Thank you. Just so you know, everybody, that's Kaz bringing me a nice brew. You can thank her in the chat. Make sure you do, please. But yeah, I look at it and I go, always, the most important angle is the real one. The real one is someone who isn't connected to a club, connected to a team, looks at it from what it really is. So then you start hearing people like Antoine Griezmann talk about what Mason Greenwood did and how he dictated that game and how they could not handle him. Like I said, he was breezing past players. When you start hearing other teams and other players start talking about him, and the way that La Liga and the way it's been covered and people are actually talking about him over there in Spain now, that's what you listen to. It's the opposition. It's like when people were having a debate about Lampard, Gerrard and Scholes. You only listen to the best. You're not going to listen to a, no disrespect, a Jamie Carragher, a Gary Neville, or anyone like that when they talk about their best players, because they're all going to say who they've played, whether it's great, brilliant. You didn't see what he did off the on the training ground, how he influenced the team and things like that. You listen to players that they've played against. They are the most important verdict out of all of this. When you cannot handle a certain player, or you come up against a player and you go, whoa, what was that? because that's the player at his best. Yeah, he's going to be different when he's with his team in training and when he's doing things, and everyone can say, well, look at him, you can tell he's definitely got the potential. He can go places, this kid. When you come up against a world-class player like a Zidane, like a Figo, players like this, and they go, Paul Scholes, honestly, best player I've ever played against. Cannot play him. You cannot do the things that Paul Scholes does. Even Ronaldo on Paul Scholes, Zidane on Paul Scholes, everyone. They're the ones that you listen to. You don't listen to anyone else. It's the opposition. It's always the opposition. They're the most important opinion out of everyone, because if they're struggling against you, you know you've got something, because that's the real player. Forget about the training ground potential, how many keep-ups and what skills he can do. What's your mentality like when you come up against a tough team? Because that's the real player. It's how they handle themselves on a pitch. Forget about the training ground crap. I don't care. Mason Greenwood is starting to make people take notice over in Spain. And this is a massive moment in the player's career. It's a massive moment for him and where he moves forward now in his next steps. Manchester United will be all over this. I'm not surprised that they've actually bent over backwards for him to set him up over in Spain in terms of his accommodation and getting everything perfect for him. They know what they've got, and they're hoping that everything dies down and everything just gets brushed away. It's never going to be brushed away. You're always going to divide opinion with Mason Greenwood from now on. It's something you're going to have to live with, and in the end, you are going to have to accept that he is going to take that stick. The club is going to take that stick. But what is more important right now? Manchester United actually getting back up there. This is a player now that, in the eyes of the law, has done nothing wrong. This is a player now that is playing football regularly in a top league, that is on Manchester United's books. And whichever way you want to look at it, it's horrible to think that we have to just look at the football side of things, because football comes second to everything like this in the situation we're in. But nothing else is going to happen. He's now got a child. He's probably matured a lot, travelling over there and playing his trade, trying to learn a new language. He's now got a full family. That his whole world has turned completely upside down, and he's going to be coming back to England a completely different man. He has to be coming back a different man. These things happen in everyone's life, like a baby coming along, and it changes people. So for me, I look at Mason Greenwood, what he's done off the pitch, his rehabilitation. He's going to have to learn a lot. He needs to be educated quite clearly. I just hope he comes back to England, a different culture altogether to what he's dealing with there in Spain, and has learnt his lessons, because he's coming back into this United team, and it's going to be tough for him. It's going to be incredibly tough for him. Playing for United is one thing. Playing for United under this cloud of what he's done and what we all know, or what we've all seen, it's going to be a very, very difficult transition for him, because they don't really care that much over there. I mean, they do, and we've seen the aftermath of what's happened with the fans at first. But right now, everyone's just looking at him for his football. Is he supposed to just stop and not do anything ever again because of what everyone's opinions are? That doesn't happen in life, does it? It doesn't. And Greenwood right now, I feel, he's now getting back to where he was before he hit the self-destruct button. And Manchester United are a club that is not going to let that go. It really isn't. I'm just going to get your guys' opinions on this one. Everyone is completely open to this. Please do not even be convinced from what I'm saying. I'm just saying this and talking on this subject on how United will look at it. I know how they will look at it. We know what our club is, and we know the morals of this football club, and we know where their priorities lie. It's in the finances, it's in the money, and it's, well, I wouldn't say it's on the football side of things. I think they'll use football as their get out in this one. Hello Adam, I'm currently in Madrid on holiday, flying out to Porto later on today. I fear for Mason, if we bring him back, the backlash would be huge. Just what I was talking about then, general food there, definitely there is going to be a massive backlash. Good morning Pete, hope you're well. Getafe are pretty awful, I've read that one out already, sorry. He skins every defender in the Liga. They don't have wingers like him, other than Vinicius. I wouldn't compare him to Vinicius. Has he got the potential to get there? Yeah. With the right guidance, Mason Greenwood can be a Vinicius Junior. He really can. He's clearly had no guidance in his life, and he's almost blew his whole career. I say almost because it does look like he is trying to turn that corner, and a lot has changed in his life over the last year. So I feel like there is an opportunity for Mason Greenwood if he's willing to accept the sheer amount of crap that is coming his way, because there will be a shed load of it. We United fans have to think, can we really have another season without a right winger when we don't have money? Honestly, I think Mason may even come in the centre-forward position. That's what I'm thinking right now. I don't feel like Manchester United are going to necessarily, if he does come back, play him on the right-hand side. I think he's a centre-forward. He can play both. It'd be great in a two. Can you imagine Højlund and Greenwood? Just football matters, and think of the footballing quality and the talent you've got there. You've got the dynamism and the speed and skill, both-footed Mason Greenwood, with the strength and pace of a Højlund. Oh, two players, two strikers like that. That's a different game altogether for United. The options open to us with that are endless. They really are. And it takes the pressure off Højlund as well. It really does. It's a shame it's so far away. It is. It's great talking about a possibility of something that might be positive, but it does seem a million miles away. It really does. Well, yeah, let's just carry on with these. Let me just go through a few more. Also, the most XA created in the team. His chance creation is great because his team don't create for him. He's doing all the work, basically. Yes, I get that. Nice. Probably not Ten Hag's choice. It's our it's our woke fan base. Woke. What does that mean? Why do I not know that word? Morning, Adam in the chat. Get Mason back ASAP, says Alien. Grey 100. There's over 100 people in the chat. Yes, there's a lot more than that right now. So let's all like the video or tickle the like button, please, everybody. We are moving up. Nice. We are getting close to that 100 already. It's brilliant stuff. Love the morning show. Love getting different people on as well, because not everyone can actually make the afternoon show or the early evening show. So it's great to get a different crowd in. There are regulars that are in both, don't get me wrong, and I appreciate that, and that is brilliant. And you are the ultimate legends of the channel. But it's nice to get people who can't always make the late ones as well. Different time zones and all that, because we are an international channel and we like to get everyone's opinion on everything. Good morning, everyone. Blessings to all. Have a great day, it says Jody Bean. Thank you, Jody. I believe Barcelona might sign Mason Greenwood, says Danish Iqbal. See, this is what we cannot allow to happen. Barcelona are not... No one is going to pay massive money for Mason Greenwood. We're not going to get what he is really worth because of what's happened. Manchester United are in need of this player. He is better than anyone else in our front line. Sadly, we've got a player on our books who has completely kiboshed his career, who is better than every other single forward in our squad right now. It's a fact. He is. He is a better player than everyone else in that team. I think he's better than Rashford, he's better than Martial, he's better than Højlund, Garnacho, Pellistri, Antony, any of them that you want to throw in there. Mason Greenwood is better than him. We know he is. He's raw talent, and no one has got anywhere near his youth academy numbers yet still. To be two-footed and be as dangerous with both feet, score from any part of the pitch like he can do and has done, that's gold. And it's something Manchester United really need right now. It's sad that we've got a player on our ranks that we cannot use because of what he's done. It is. It's really disappointing. Let me just see what else we have got in the chat here. Garnacho, Højlund, Greenwood up top. Oh, unbelievable. Love and support from Denmark. Henrik, love that. Thank you very much for joining us, my friend. Let me just see what else we got. Matry, Triple X. This is why Barca and Madrid are looking at him. He is just going to get better because he at a football club, not commercial. Because he's at a football club, He's at a football club, not a commercial one. I agree with that one, Matry. I think that is exactly what's happening with him right now. You've got a club there that are just solely looking at the football side of things. He offers more than Antony and Rashford on either wing. Put together, I would say Domingo, yes. It went away quickly with Antony. Yeah, it has done, hasn't it? It really has. That's a very good point, that does. Off topic, if Mourinho played like that last Sunday, he would have got pelters. Yes, he would, because he's got a name for it. He's known for it, I should say. That's the problem with what Jose. Pragmatic style football doesn't suit, but I think because Jose was trying to play it a little bit too much, which, like we said, Ten Hag, good that he's done it and got the result and we move on. We can't keep playing like that, though. It was kind of concerning that he actually alluded to it in his press conference and said, maybe we should do that more often. Yeah, maybe in the big games. But not every week, Eric. We need goals. Like, we are poor in front of goal. We're not creating enough. Anthony Wisdom says, we've got 2 we can't play. Adam, if you include Sancho. It's a very good point. It is a very, very good point. I think that there, Anthony, pretty much sums up Manchester United. The fact that we have got 2 quality, it's up for debate with Jadon Sancho, but 2 massive, massive assets at Manchester United that we cannot play is just an example of where Manchester United as a football club are actually at right now. And Jadon Sancho, who's fallen out with a manager, and then you've got Mason Greenwood in his situation. 2 forwards right now that maybe would shake things up in that front line and give us a completely different dynamic. They would, and we can't use them. The club, my God, Manchester United, where are we? Where are we as a club? It's crazy when you think like that. If Mason teams up with Bellingham, wow. Yep, I know, scary. Very, very scary. Jack Pace says, we do have 18 goals in 17 games. So is Ten Hag also pragmatic? Just what I said, Jack. I don't think he is. I think he's trying to do something, but we haven't got the players to do it. And ultimately, we have missed a lot of chances this season as well. Some glaring chances. And I don't feel like Ten Hag is deliberately trying to play this way. Last season, we were trying to find a way. I think our deficiencies are mental with this team. We know we've got talent. We've got the mental stability to actually play a defensive game at Anfield and almost come through with 3 points. Do you know what I mean? We can beat the best teams. We can. But for some reason, we completely switch off in games and we struggle when the going gets tough. We actually struggle to actually carry on playing or sticking to a game plan when things are going against us. I feel like the talent is there. I'm not saying that the players don't work hard. Well, not all of them anyway. So for me, I look at it and go, Manchester United's issue isn't so much the playing style. I don't think it is the actual players' quality, although some players really aren't good enough. We know that. Not all of them, though. I just feel like mentally they struggle with that United shirt and the pressures that this club bring. They really do. Only United have the capabilities of heaping pressure on players when they bring them into the football club. 1, we pay over the top for them and give them stupid wages and elevating them to a status that they think they are untouchable. And 2, we try to change that player into something that he's not when he actually arrives at the football club. Absolutely crazy how Manchester United work, but that is this football club. That's what we do. Cheers, everybody. 100 likes in the bag already, and we're not even halfway through. That is what we like. Brilliant stuff. Over 300 in the room with us right now. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. As always, get your comments in on Mason Greenwood. On the football side of things, where are you at with this player right now? Can Manchester United afford to be messing around and letting him go to one of our biggest European rivals? Because that is what's going to happen if United don't bring him back. My opinion is I think Mason Greenwood is coming back to United in the summer and he will be a mainstay in, I think, Erik Ten Hag's team, because I think Ten Hag will still be in situ for reasons I've said in previous videos. Now there's no pressure on him in other competitions. I think he can do more on the training ground and make better and get us back up that league, because the league is everything. Let's not forget that. So if he does fail now, Ten Hag, then he deserves to be sacked because he's got everything he needs. These are his players. He spent 400 million and he's now got time on the training ground to make this work. If you're adding in players like Mason Greenwood at the end of the season when we're cash strapped and can't afford anyone, there's no one else out there. I don't think Manchester United realistically can go and buy that's any good or anywhere near the quality that Mason Greenwood is and the potential that kid has got in the transfer market. That is the reality of what Manchester United are dealing with, and why Manchester United will have Mason Greenwood lining up in a United shirt next season. It's a definite. It's my opinion alone, but I don't see any way I don't see anything other than Mason Greenwood being in a United shirt next season. Let's get through some more comments. We will never challenge until the Glazers are gone from this club. We get screwed over and over, says Andy. I'm not using the Glazers for this. I've given up on Andy, to be honest. I've given up on the Glazers leaving for the foreseeable and this club actually being able to compete. All I want right now is Manchester United to start acting like a football club and changing the structure and the culture at United, trying to be football focused and not commercial. We're now trying to repair damage that this club has caused itself over the last decade. That's what we're trying to do right now. And it's going to be a long, long road. So, no, you are right. I don't think we'll challenge properly. Well, we're not going to challenge properly for a minimum 5 years, I don't think. Not until this club starts acting like a football club and concentrates on football matters. It won't. We'll be nowhere near. Can you read my question out, please, Mark, and your thoughts on it? I'm not called Mark Lee. Is that aimed at me? I don't know. Where is your question? If you just want to say it again. Kaz has asked, Adam, plans for Saturday's game? Yes, nice reminder there, Kaz. Thank you. Guys, this weekend we're changing it up again. How do you guys fancy coming along to FUTV and watching the West Ham game with me here on FUTV? We are going to do a watch along. I said we're mixing them up between Top of the League and Forever United TV. We're keeping it fully United this weekend. I feel like I need to get a big core of United fans in the room with me watching that game. I feel like we're going to need it. We're going to need each other for this West Ham game at weekends. Can we bounce back after that Liverpool performance? Everyone in the room together. Hopefully you guys will join me on Saturday for the watch along and the Reds can get the job done. We're thinking positive. I'm sending full-on positive vibes all this week to the weekend. There's no negativity at all. You must have noticed it already. I was bigging up the show last night for what Manchester United can do in terms of changing everything at the football club. Let's just break this down, yeah? What I do like to do is add context to everything that I title up. It's not bollocks, it's not made up crap, it's reality from where I see it. And then it's up to you guys to come back in the comments, because we like to have a chat on this channel and actually involve people and talk about it, which is why I read so many of you guys' messages. When I can and when it's not mental, that is. So this is your opportunity to get your input across and get your questions and your thoughts in. Because even if Sir Jim Ratcliffe does not come in, is there anything stopping Manchester United approaching the people that have been rumoured to be coming in certain positions in the hierarchy already? No, there isn't. We can approach Dan Ashworth, we can approach Paul Mitchell, we can bring these people in. There are people available out there, and we know we're going to get a new CEO. The interim is there, obviously. And Murto, well, whatever Murto is doing, I do not know. I don't know what his role at the club is, personally. It doesn't really matter to us right now. But what we want to know is how this club moves forward. For me, that is the only way. And United can make these things happen, even without Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Because, let's be honest, if Sir Jim doesn't come in, we're screwed with the Glazers. The only thing we can do, reality-wise, is look at what we've got and make it happen. Make it happen ourselves. Look at the priorities. Where can we improve? We can improve on the pitch and the way that the club is run 100% without spending any money. We can. We can invest it in the right places. We don't have to go out and spend stupid amounts of money. We can change our scouting setup and the whole structure. There's a lot we can do even without anyone else coming in. That's what I like to talk about, because unless we do talk about it, we have to deal with the real reality, which is having a football club run by them idiots. Lee Parker has come back with that question now. Sorry, Adam. Thoughts on keeping Scott as captain to sort the dressing room out and cast the crybabies out? Noticed Hannibal had braids in. Bet that's down to Scott, question mark. I don't think so. Honestly, I know Scott is an influence in the changing room. From people I've spoken to at United and conversations we've had with a lot of journalists and the media, Scott is very, very helpful in the changing room. He's great with integration of young players coming through from the academy as well. Like I've always said, I don't want Scott to leave, personally. I don't rate him as a first-team player. And that's just me being brutally honest. And I would say that to his face as well. I think he is a good player. He's a good squad player. He's great in that integration. He's a good person to have around. He talks well in the media. And he's always there, I feel, for them younger players that's needed. He's been there. He's done that. He's seen a lot. And I feel like he has got in him a positive vibe which the club still needs. I think he does have an influence. I do. I think he does have an influence. There's no one been there really longer than Scott McTominay, apart from Marcus Rashford. So he has seen a lot. And if there's anyone that can advise on what has gone wrong, I mean, he's a player that stays stum. He probably knows he isn't as good as a lot of the other players, but he doesn't kick up a stink. He actually wants to be part of Manchester United, and you can't ever take that away from Scott McTominay. No, he's just not good enough. And I hate him sometimes for the stuff that he does. And then the way he talks afterwards like he's great. But I will never take away what Scott McTominay is to this football club and what this club means to him. He is a Manchester United man through and through. And it is a good question, Lee, but I don't think he would have an influence on Hannibal braiding his hair, personally. I don't. But I do believe... So I had a right shiver then, sorry. I do believe that... he has a good influence on a few of the other youth team players in a different way. So, yes, good to have around, just not in the first team. Let's just say it that. Call it as it is. That sounds so wrong, Gray 100. There's a conversation going on completely different. So 200 tickles and I'll run around OT in the noodles. By that he means anyone just tuning in right now wondering what the hell is going on this stream. By that he means just tickle the like button, everybody, and let's try and get this video up to around 200 likes, please. Fantastic. Can we have an update on what we're on, by the way? 122, Stephanie, that came up a minute ago. Let's hit that 150 mark, everyone. Like, share, and obviously subscribe if you tune in for the first time to FUTV. Eamon says nothing will change until everything changes. I think things will change, and things need to change to make them changes happen, Eamon, I think is the best way of putting that and answering that comment of yours. You know what I mean by that as well, I think. Scott just needs to do the basics consistently. It's called being a top footballer, says Stephanie. Ooh, right in there, Stephanie. Tickle the like button. That's a re-membership there for DJ John. Thank you very much, matey. Brilliant stuff. We are missing our man on his tiger in these chats recently, aren't we? Not that I want him to actually just keep giving away memberships, but he's actually a good conversation as well. I wonder where he is. I hope he's all right, and I hope he actually he's just out shopping and has missed the stream. But Selects had lots of players like Brown, O'Shea, and Fletcher. Yes, he did. He did. Lee says he's definitely more captain than Bruno, though. I agree. He's not world class. Honestly, I don't think that. I disagree with that. Bruno's getting a ton of stick at the moment, and I do believe that. It's unfair. It really is unfair on Bruno Fernandes. I feel like he's just the whipping boy right now for everybody to go in on. I feel like he's the one that's getting the brunt of all of the crap because he's the risk taker. He's the one that always he's trying the pass that isn't on. He's trying to be different. And for me, I think that Portuguese nature, that discipline, and I say this, and like I said, I've been to every single ground in the Premier League and I've seen a lot of players. Nearly every single Portuguese player is exactly the same. Is anyone moaning about what Diogo Dalot did the other day? Was that not petulant when he got a red card? If that was Bruno Fernandes, you would have all lost your shit and basically gone in on him for being petulant. He didn't get the decision he wanted. Emotions were high because he's really feeling it, Dalot, and he's complained about a decision. The red card was ridiculous, but I guarantee you right now that if that was Bruno Fernandes that got sent off against Liverpool, everybody would have been on his back. Everybody would have been saying, all that work that we did all game, you just basically threw us under the bus there in the last few minutes and made it difficult, not thinking about the team at all. Every Portuguese player, you look at Diaz, look at Dalot, look at Neves, look at Bernardo Silva, look at all of these winners, because that's what the Portuguese are, winners. Ronaldo, is he not the most petulant man on the planet? They're all the same. If you don't want a winner in your team, then that's your problem. But Bruno Fernandes is what he is. He's a winner, and he wants to win by any means. That's what he feels every kick of the ball. Not like these players. I'm not necessarily saying English players here that just like, oh, tough it up. Let's no problem. Let's not moan about any decision. It's a different culture. It's a different way of living. That's how they play and that's how they are. But one thing they do is they win. And that's a fact. So for me, Bruno Fernandes is getting way too much stick right now. Yes, it can annoy you with the things he does. Yes, he gives the ball away a lot. But so does Kevin De Bruyne. But because he's got a better forward line, it doesn't look as bad on him. You look at Kevin De Bruyne's stats when he comes back and look how many balls he gives away compared to Bruno as well. And then come back to me with another argument. Because these players play freely. They play with freedom and they're not scared of taking a stick if their pass goes astray. They're not scared of being that player. I tell you what, out of this whole team right now, if Sir Alex Ferguson was still manager, there'd be a one guarantee in that team. It'd be Bruno Fernandes. That is an Sir Alex Ferguson player right there for me. I just feel like, yeah, he deserves his stick like everybody else. And I do agree that, yeah, there may be a better captain than Bruno Fernandes. But don't use that just to go in on a player because of the way he is and the way he plays the game. There is more positives in Bruno Fernandes than there are negatives. And like I said, I will go in on him like every other fan will. We all do. We're fans. We're allowed to give our critique on players for their performances. But also, let's not forget what good they do as well. And let's not categorise him as one of the main issues. People who say Bruno Fernandes needs to be sold, for me, need their head testing. He isn't the problem. He really isn't the problem. Let's get through a few super chats here. Alien with the first one. Got 3 crates of Stella for Christmas. Send one my way, Alien. Cheers for that, mate. Thank you. Honest Tiger is in Chester Zoo. Being naughty. I love that one. I like it, mate. You just sit there, don't you? Just thinking of these comebacks every single time, Pete, don't you? Are you there on Boxing Day, Pete, as well, by the way? Maybe you should meet up with us and have a drink. If you can get down there early enough. Just let me know if you're actually going. Is anyone going to the Boxing Day game against Villa? Anyone fancy a bit of an FUTV meet-up? It's a good idea, I think. Let me know if anyone's going. Sorry if I missed the chats as well. Domingo also in with a super chat. Cheers, Domingo. Would you change keepers this weekend given Onana is away for AFCON? No, I would just change it when we have to be honest, Domingo. I know where you're going with that. Like, get Bayindir in and get him used to playing. I don't think it really matters. It really doesn't. I mean, to be honest, coming into a fixture pile up like it does at Christmas, it's probably not the best time for someone to come in because it's not a normal scenario. If anything, just try and keep it the same as possible for as long as possible, I say. And that's how I would work it. No, got family around. Spurs game next. Pete, you let me down. Disappointed in you, man. Disappointed in you. Thanks for the supers, though. Eamon Potts says, agree, Bruno, a whipping boy for some. Yes, he is. Give him the critique. Like I said, he deserves it sometimes, like every player does. One thing I will say is it's like, for me, I don't say one thing and then stick to that agenda like a lot of people do online. A lot of people do it on YouTube. I told you 4 years ago that this player wasn't right. Oh, let's forget about what good he's done in the 4 years. Get into this one moment where it actually looks like you might actually be right. Let's forget about the 4 years building up to it, shall we? I told you so. I said this all along. Bollocks. Shut your mouth going on with your own agendas of certain players. Say it as it is. I've been wrong about players. I don't like Martial. And his games when he plays well, I'm not going to say, well, he's got lucky there. Or, well, what do you expect against that sort of team? No, he did well. He played well, but he doesn't do it every week. So that's why he gets the criticism. If Bruno Fernandes makes a bad pass, I'm going mad with every other fan. But it doesn't mean that he's a bad player. It doesn't mean like he's gone wrong overnight. And like everything that everyone's making him out to be is the gospel. So, yeah, settle down. Anyway. Well, I disagree. Liverpool game proved it just the same. We had all the injuries to not justify it more. Not that 0-0 didn't. Lee, was you talking to me there, Lee, or someone else in the chat? I don't know if you was talking about Bruno. Bruno Fernandes for me. What has Bruno done? Oh, God, Lee. I mean, how many things you want to go over? Like, the amount of times that Bruno has led this team. The amount of times that Bruno has turned games around for nothing. I mean, do you cheer when Bruno scores? I mean, he's having a shocking game, but still keeps on doing what he does. He doesn't hide away. That's one thing that Bruno does. It's like he could be having a bad game, and what do you want him to do there? Go hiding like a lot of players do in this United team and stop playing the way that he plays? Bruno doesn't do that for me, and that's one good point that Bruno has got. He's like never afraid to just carry on doing what he does. So yeah, that's it. Lee wants to know when. We're not here to itemise certain games, mate. We're really not. But let's see. The Fulham game, yes. Great goal. I mean, did you cheer when he scored top corner against Galatasaray away from home? And then the defence absolutely exploded. We could have been talking about Bruno scoring a winner there, but no. We'll wait to see him fail or do something bad again. I made a video about it the other day. Should Bruno actually come back? Bruno has got no God-given right to be in the starting lineup. And you've got to look at the managers for that, not just Bruno Fernandes. Bruno would happily sit on the bench for me. He'd sulk and not be happy about it, but I want a player like that. That's what I want in my team. Just my opinion on it, and everyone else is welcome to theirs. Let's just see there. He gets in everyone's way. Look back at most United goals, Bruno's fault. Look back at most United goals, it's Bruno's fault. If he's at fault for United scoring goals, that's a good thing, isn't it, Lee? Or did you not mean that? Bruno does one good thing in 5 games if he's lucky. Disagree, Lee. Let's leave it there, mate. We'll have to agree to disagree on that one. But Bruno always shows for the ball, never stops running, and he is the best chance creator in the league. What has McTominay done? Says Dober. It's opinions. People see the game differently, but one thing I won't do is leave an agenda there because I've said something previously about a certain player just to try and make it look like I was proven right. That's what I won't do. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't agree on the goals against either, Lee. No, I really don't. Everyone makes mistakes, Manchester United. I mean, I could go in on an honour for losing the Champions League for us, but, you know what I mean? We have to live with that now. We have to live with it. It's what it is. It's our goalkeeper, and we move forward. So, yes. So there was actually more news last night about what Fabrizio Romano was saying, in fact, about Jean-Claude Blanc. We touched on it last night in the Mitchell and the Dan Ashworth conversation, that Jean-Claude Blanc could be coming in as a CEO for Manchester United. All good news, because Fabrizio Romano is now talking about it as well. And we know when Fabrizio starts talking about things that we can actually take it as genuine interest. I feel like, it's not so much a here we go. It's not so much a here we go. Manchester United are interested in players, like some other people would have you think. Let's get something really interesting that we want to talk about instead of possible transfers. By the way, we're not signing anyone in January, guys. Don't get your hopes up. Anyone who makes you think that we are going to make signings in January is just creating content for the sake of content, and there's nothing in it. Yeah, we may be interested in certain players, but there's nothing coming in January. I can guarantee that for certain. So, yeah, that's a definite. We may get one of these emergency loan deals again, like we said last night, but nothing more. It's not happening. Erik ten Hag will be sacked inevitably. Any employee that costs a company money goes. He's cost us 30 million plus Anthony 50 million when we don't make top 4. We have a weird fan base. Some people need players to hate. Maguire's had it, Bruno has had it, and now Rashford. To be honest, I don't necessarily think this United fan base has hate in it. It's like Lee doesn't like Bruno Fernandes. That's fine. That's fine for Lee. He doesn't like that type of player. That's just his opinion. I think the fan base is in a position now where it's like they're sick to death of the continuous failing by the team as a whole. And when you see, I don't put Bruno in the category with a Rashford or a Martial because I see the body language. Bruno drops howlers, he makes mistakes. He looks like he's just busting a gut to make up for that mistake, though. And that needs curbing and it needs harnessing. Bruno's energy needs harnessing. Sometimes it's headless chicken-like. But I'll never, ever question his desire to get back and win the ball back and his energy and the effort that he puts in. I do, however, and I have sat there on the side, and sometimes the cameras won't pick this up, but Marcus Rashford's and Martial's body language. Why do you think that Marcus Rashford and Martial have both been booed off the park? They have. Marcus Rashford was booed coming on the pitch one time, but the media will not report that. He was. I was there. I heard it. Martial got cheered off the pitch. Why? Because the fans in the stadium can actually see the effort that these guys are putting in. This is why. And this is why you get the critique coming in from them fans. People are not necessarily looking for players to hate. The fans are not like that. I know the United fan base isn't like that. Yeah, there are certain ones that take it to the level. And yeah, I could name quite a few of them. There is a lot. And they're sad, to be honest. I'm not like that. I look at it and I go, you only have to look what's happening on the pitch. You only have to look at a player's body language to know where his head is at and if he can be asked at all. And there's a few players in that team that just aren't asked. They're really not bothered about digging in and helping Manchester United get through this tough spell. We are where we are because ultimately we've got a mix of players that are not quite good enough and players that do not give a shit. That's where we are. Where we are. Where we are, we are. And cheers for all the likes, guys, by the way. Let me just see what else we've got in the chat there. Erik ten Hag hasn't spent that money the club has due to the incompetence of the board. See, this is it. I mean, how much are you willing to heap on to Ten Hag? You can heap on to him the players that he's brought in. You cannot fault Ten Hag for the amount of money that the club has spent on them players. Antony does not look like he's good enough for Manchester United. The club has enhanced that opinion with the amount of money that we were forced to pay for him because we are just crap in the transfer market and dealing with transfers. And yeah, I feel like that is a manager. That's a trait that the managers get stuck with. How much money has he spent? Well, reality is yes. He has brought that player in, but yes, he did not spend that money. No problem, Lee, by the way, mate. I love everyone's opinions, even if they don't agree with me. That's what this channel is. I'll never get rid of anyone on a chat or slander anyone. I'll just say, look, your opinion doesn't count. Everyone's opinions is their opinions, and that's what this is all about. And that's why I love bringing up the chat on all of my shows and involving you guys. That's what it's about. We get through the nitty-gritty of the topics and the stuff early doors, and then you guys come in, and you guys are the ones that make the show happen. That's what it's all about. Gehan says, Bruno is not the type of player we need. City would never sign him. I think they would, Gehan, to be honest. He gives the ball away far too much for my liking. Maguire is also not good enough, along with McTominay. We need to compete. Bruno Fernandes, I feel, like I said, Gehan and likes of Lee, yeah, I understand your opinions and what you're looking at, but I feel like Bruno Fernandes, the amount of chances he's created, no one talks about the failings of the forwards that miss them chances constantly, and they do miss quite a lot. They do. Don't get me wrong, Bruno should score twice as many as what he's scoring right now. He does miss a lot, and the amount of times he's kicking 3-pointers over the bar and rather than hitting the back of the net does my tree, and it really does. I mean, we know this man can hit a ball, and how he can't keep it down, I do not know. But yeah, it's like every time he goes to shoot from outside the box, like they can feel the whole stadium now he's saying, no, pass it, pass it, pass it. And yeah, he needs to get better at that. There's no excuse for that at all. I mean, he realises that, and I think that's an important thing as well. But let Rasmus take the next penalty, says Henrik. Bruno is definitely a Marmite player. Oh, 100%. That is a Bruno. That is definitely Bruno. But yeah, that pretty much sums everything up, guys. I wanted to get a good little conversation about Greenwood and then get into everything else and bring in your questions today. It's been great having you along as always, guys. Good numbers again on the morning show. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure you do share the video, like, and most importantly, subscribe and hit that bell notification button for all of the content coming up. We have got a show later this evening as well, as always. Hopefully you guys can all come in and join that one as well. We are building up to the weekend, which is West Ham away. We are back on FUTV with the watch along this weekend, guys, as well. So hopefully you can tune in to see me having my meltdown. I need you guys with me for the meltdown. I struggle on my own. I struggle suffering on my own. I feel like I'm going to go through a bit of that this weekend, but yeah, hopefully the Reds can pull it off and get through that one with another decent result. But yeah, that is it for now, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Brilliant stuff. I will catch you later this afternoon. Have a good rest of your day. Hopefully you don't get stuck in bad weather while out Christmas shopping. And yeah, we will see you all 6:30 later on this evening.